Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Government. I'm Charity Dunker. On this edition of Inside Government, I'm being joined by the Interim Director at Postal Services St. Martin, PSS, Miss Marinka Gumbs. Welcome.
Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate this invitation to expound more on the services and the happenings of PSS.
Great, Marinka. Thank you for joining us. So, how has everything been over at PSS?
You know, Postal Services is not without its struggle, especially since the pandemic. And, we are trying our very best to ensure that the services continue, that we expound on more services throughout, making sure that everyone within the community is happy, is pleased with what we have been providing thus far, and making sure that the basic, which is meal delivery, is done in a very expedient manner.
Great. Before starting our conversation, allow me the opportunity to go ahead and enlighten our listeners and also our viewers as to where we're going to be taking this interview. Since 2017, Post Office has moved from its former location due to Hurricane Irma, and since then been running its daily operations at the former old census slash civil registry building. Ms. Marinka Gumbs, is there any intentions of relocating again or?
Before taking up this position 2 years ago as interim director, I was actually a board member. And one of the tasks that myself as chair lady and my other board members were tasked to doing was to ensure a smooth transition from the previous location on Pondfield to Swaliga Boulevard, the former census office. And we were tasked in making sure that that went smoothly, as well as the downsizing, because the downsizing took place just at that same time. We were told that this was a temporary location for us. Since then, we have petitioned to government after hearing of the demolition that is to take place of the old census office. Okay, so if this is temporary, then where are we going to go? I must admit that we have not officially heard anything from the government of St. Martin with regards to where we would be going. However, we're not complaining about this position and where we're located currently. Yes, it's a smaller space. Yes, we need space. But like every other department within government, we do understand the challenges there, and we make best with what we have. When we were over when the former team, because I wasn't there with them at that time, but I could only imagine being in a bigger space, having not seeing each other, being on top of each other, basically, I could understand that it was a bit more comfortable. Here, though, we have a bird's eye view. I get to see everyone every morning. I get to see them in the afternoon. We get that close-knit feeling. So I don't complain, and I don't think we are complaining about where we are. We just would like to have it solidified as to this is where PSS is. This is a home, at least for PSS.
Handling of daily operations, giving space, as mentioned, you said is very close-knit at this time,
Right.
versus the previous location where spacing was, you had ample spacing to maneuver.
Yes.
How has that been handled now?
It's a challenge, especially knowing the direction. There's so many things that myself, along with the management team, as well as the supervisory board, envisions for PSS. And, working from these small quarters is a bit difficult. But again, we do with what we have until better can be done. I'm definitely not complaining. We have a roof over our head, and we're able to still cater to the needs of the public. So, while it's a bit challenging, yes, and I hope we can get a solution. At this moment, we're all staff, we're all working with what we have.
Now, previous to your person being an intern director. The
Yes.
floor plan layout, which is right now at the current location, did you have to alter make a few adjustments in order to meet, yeah, spacing and functionality, daily operations at post office?
Well, my person, no, I did not have to make that change because I wasn't in as yet. But I remember working right here in this very same building at the census office moons ago, and the floor plan did indeed change. We had to there were doors that had to be created for access, bringing in the bulk of mail. So there is a difference that I see, but unfortunately I was not here when that floor plan was being arranged and organized. That was the previous interim director.
Also, Postal Services, St. Martin and V. What are the various services offered for the public over at PSS?
Well, we divide this into two. We have both postal services and non-postal services. So, of course, you have the sale of stamps, and I want to reiterate this sale of stamps. A lot of people think that when you want to come and purchase the 5 guilder stamp, and they call it stamp, you can get that at the post office. That's one of the things you cannot get here yet, at least. That is still a receiver's office delegation. So we would order them for government, but we're not allowed to sell. I wish we could, because it would make the lines even over at the receiver's office that much less for persons to simply come in, not even 5 minutes here by us, and purchase those stamps. But we do sell other stamps, and for mailing purposes. We have sending and receiving of parcels, sending and receiving of letters, certified registered mail, express mail services. And of course, we have the PO box rentals, both at this location, inside and out, and also at the Simpson Bay Fish Market location, which is all outside. Of course, we have our courier services, elite post services, and then over to the non-postal services that we offer is the e-commerce, which is linked to a U.S. mailing address. We have PSS Travel, and I would like to expound on that later on. We have our business section where we can do copy, print, and scan, payment of currently KiwiSat. We wanted to include all bill payments because the idea that we have is to make this a hub where you don't have to go here, there, and elsewhere to pay your utility bills. Unfortunately, that has not materialized as yet, but we're hoping. You can do top up of Telem and Flow here. And then, of course, we have the DHL services where you can have as a drop-off location.
Okay. Ms. Marinka Gumbs, Interim Director over at St. Martin Postal Services, PSS. As you heard there, she's explaining the different services that can be rendered to our public. Do stay tuned. This is Inside Government Interview with yours truly, Charity Dunker. I'll be back right after this.
The Ombudsman is here for you. The Ombudsman, we're here for you. The Ombudsman, we are here for you. The Ombudsman is here for you. The Ombudsman, we're here for you. The Ombudsman, we are here for you. Good governance is a must. This institution you can trust. Guardian of the Constitution. Not one but more solutions for complaints against the government. Protectors of the citizens. Promoting good governance in our friendly island, St. Martin. The Ombudsman is here for you. The Ombudsman, we're here for you. The Ombudsman, we are here for you.
The Ombudsman is the voice and protector of the people. Visit us at E. Camille Richardson Street, number 13 on the Police Station Road in Phillipsburg.
So, you want to join the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard? You obviously got very high standards. Now is the time to get started. Every Saturday, starting January 22nd until February 19th, get down to the Walter Plant Square in Phillipsburg at 8 a.m. sharp for the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard pre-test to see if you have what it takes to be a Coast Guard officer. For more information, visit kustwacht.org. The Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard, St. Maarten. Strong together.
Do you know there is such a thing as teen dating violence? Seriously, there is. When your boyfriend or girlfriend is controlling your every move, trolling you online, checking your social media page, recording you without your permission, or forcing you to do things you don't want to do, this is abuse. If you find yourself in this situation, please talk to someone you can trust. Your parents, school counselor, or the police.
This message has been brought to you by Women's Desk.
Welcome back to Inside Government with yours truly, Charity Dunker, and I'm being joined by Interim Director, Ms. Marinka Gumbs over at St. Martin Postal Services NV. Ms. Marinka Gumbs, how many staff members are responsible for handling daily operations at PSS?
Currently, we have a total of 17. We had to downsize, as I mentioned before, back in 2018. And we downsized. We had a total then of 35. And so now we have 17 loyal employees that are responsible for the daily operations. And you can imagine coming from basically that's almost more than half. The problem with that is that a lot of the work is doubled, but they're understanding to this. We have reached a point of, making sure the delegation goes well, who's supposed to do what. And everybody thus far, at least since I've been here the past 2 years, have been very understanding to their roles and how we want to make PSS still very viable.
Right. Now, last year, Postal Services St. Martin became a hub for Post and L and vice versa to the Caribbean and Netherlands Best Islands. How has this joint venture contributed to services offered?
Well, when we were approached by the Netherlands, we were approached based on the fact that they were having some setbacks with the mail coming from the Netherlands to the Best Islands through Bonaire. That was the issue. It was taking longer. It was a longer route in order to get to the mail to Saban Station. And so we were approached in handling that, where they would send the mail to us, and then we would make sure that that mail goes over to Saban Station. And thus far, it has been going well. I haven't heard any complaints. As a matter of fact, what I want and have been doing is when I sign any new agreements, I want to make sure that if there's any issues that we tackle it head on, and we make sure that those things don't continue. I wouldn't want to hear there after that the same issues that they were having with Bonaire is what they're having with us. So hence my reason for reaching out and making sure. And thus far, I haven't heard any complaints. So I think it's going very well.
Let's talk about opening hours at
Yes.
the Postal Services St. Martin.
The opening hours was prior to the pandemic, 7:30 to 5. However, we had to definitely make some cuts overall with employees. Our cuts we decided with management and our supervisory board that we would go to 3 o'clock, 7:30 to 3 to the public. And currently that's what it is. We have not changed back to the 5 o'clock as yet. So our opening hours are from 7:30 to 3. And I need to stress, because one of the things we get a call on almost daily is where we're located. And we stated it earlier. We stated that we're at the former census office, which is located Swaliga Boulevard, opposite the government building, literally between USM and the Festival Village.
Ms. Gumbs, you mentioned since the pandemic, right? So we'll continue on that. Since COVID-19 pandemic, how has Postal Services adjusted their daily operations? Also, since the lockdown due to the pandemic, has there been any setbacks? You have encountered any in daily operations?
Um, Other than the fact that the flights were issues, you can imagine countries who were not open up, um, who were still on lockdowns. Mail that would usually take maybe a week went to 2 weeks, but things seem to be coming back to some form of normalcy now. And we have definitely, when we know that a country is not open for accepting of mail, we would notify the public via our Facebook page. Unfortunately, currently our website is still in progress of getting finalized, so we can't update in that medium. But there is a WhatsApp number. Persons can call us. We can be contacted via our messenger page on Facebook as well, and we do respond where those questions are concerned. But that's really the major setback that has happened in terms of mail leaving or even coming to the country.
Yeah. We also have many visitors to the island who then turn into local residents. Those who would
Yes.
like to sign up for a post box at the mailbox, then rather over
Mhm.
at Postal Services, how do one go about registering?
They can simply come into our office. The great thing about here is that we don't have those long lines. You get help, very quickly. Thank God for that. And so you come in and you can choose. You can have either a box located in Simpson Bay, as I stated, or you can have one here in Phillipsburg. If you choose to have one in Phillipsburg, you have two options: one outside, which would be at a rate of 200 guilders per year, and one inside, which is 175. Fee for the key would be 25 guilders as well. And so you just come in and you apply, you notify, you say, well, you would rather not have your mail go to this house anymore, for example. You would want a PO box. And so then the mailman would know to stop all mail going to a house location and then have the mail go to the PO box instead.
Okay. Your WhatsApp number for those who would like to also send a message via WhatsApp.
It's 520-2760. That's
Oh,
520-2760. I need to really do something, which is to thank those PO box holders that we currently have. And as a matter of fact, besides the PO box holders, I need to also thank the patrons to PSS in general. For my reason for that, a lot of people don't know that PSS is the only post office, and if I dare say whether it's worldwide, but I know for sure within the kingdom that has not been subsidized by its government. So how we make ends meet, how I make sure that the doors of PSS remain open is through those persons who utilize the post office on a day-to-day basis. So I thank you guys for your patronage.
annual fee for payment at the postal services of the mailbox. What is the cost?
175 guilders for inside boxes, that's per year, and 200 guilders for those that are outside.
Okay, wonderful. Once again, I'm being joined by Interim Director of St. Martin Postal Services, PSS, Miss Marinka Gumbs. Do stay tuned. This is Inside Government Interview with yours truly, Charity Dunker.
So, you want to join the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard? You obviously got very high standards. Now is the time to get started. Every Saturday, starting January 22nd until February 19th, get down to the Walter Plant Square in Phillipsburg at 8 a.m. sharp for the Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard pre-test to see if you have what it takes to be a Coast Guard officer. For more information, visit kustwacht.org. The Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard, St. Martin. Strong together.
Welcome back to this Inside Government Interview with Interim Director from Postal Services, St. Martin, Miss Marinka Gumbs. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Let's talk more in the lines of seeing the ways of how everyone is changing their ways of making orders, right? Ordering
Yes,
online, and also that requires a mailing address.
correct.
Almost everyone is now shopping online, Marinka, and there are quite a few U.S. forwarding address mailbox services here on the island. Does the post office also offer these services?
Yes, we do offer these services. We are linked with the company called aeropost.com. And the unique thing about that is, of course, it's all by air. So that's number one, which means you will get your meal even faster. Currently, we have twice per week that persons can get their meal, but it's very easy. You either log on, you sign up, you get your unique identifier number, and with that, you can go right ahead on whether it's Amazon or whatever site you choose to order from, and you can place your orders. Once you pay to have your meal forwarded to St. Martin, it comes here, we notify you. You can either request that it's delivered to you, which is for free, or you can come in and you can collect your meal as normal. There is competition, we know that. And, we're trying to keep up with what is being offered out there. But again, it's when you see the fact that you place your order today, it reaches Miami tomorrow, you pay for it before 12 o'clock, and by the Tuesday or the Friday, it's here on St. Martin, then you know how happy persons are when they receive their packages. And we have that customer service friendly oriented where we just simply call persons, or they would get their email, but once we see a mail a little too long within the office, we give them that personal touch where we call individuals and tell them, your mail is still here to be picked up.
Busiest time of the year for PSS. When would you say that will mark on calendar?
I would say the busiest time is the end of the year, beginning of the new, especially when it comes to getting mail. Right now, we have deals. We do it at least 3 times a year where we give deals to persons who are living in the Netherlands. There are students who are going away. You sign up, you're locked into a fixed price to getting your family members that meal. But of course, it has to be students who are living in the Netherlands. That's a busy time for us as well. Tax season is a very busy time, and we're still thankful to the Inspectorate of Taxes who still utilize the post office in making sure that persons receive their tax income tax information.
Yes. And speaking on taxes, Marinka, now that you've touched base on that, annually, everyone has to pay their taxes or receive tax wages. What role does PSS play in delivering these notices?
Well, there's a big role that we play, and I need to make sure that it's clear how this goes. So the Inspector of Taxes call us, we pick up the boxes of notifications, and we make sure that within the 2-day turnaround that's allotted by law, the 2-day turnaround that persons receive their mail. The issue that we're having, and I need to make this clear, is the return of mail. And why is that? Because a lot of people don't do 2 things. A lot of people feel that once they go to the census office and they change the address there, that every other entity, whether it's a tax office, whether it's banks, whether it's anywhere, has an updated address for them. And that's not the case. That's number one. Number 2, not having a mailbox by your gate is an issue, because if we even take a look at the Best Islands, and this is just an example, they have a law that if you don't have a mailbox by your gate, the mail is returned. We don't even need to go that far. Let's take a drive over to the front side. If you take a drive over to the front side, you would see literally mailboxes galore. Even if it's not by the gate, it's down the road so that the mailman know this is where this individual lives. The thing about having to throw mail on a porch or put mail through a gate or under a rock, those are the things that we're trying to alleviate. It's not customary. We shouldn't get into that kind of practice. And that's why a lot of people don't get their mail. And ironically enough, there are individuals who would get mail. It's still in their mailbox. They don't take it out because they look at it as a bill. I want to say most times than not, it's not that you have to pay back, but it's that you receive. So at times you should be welcoming opening these mails and to see exactly what contribution you can either give back to government if you have to, or that you can be on the receiving end of. So it's not always bad.
All right. With a few minutes remaining, I know there's so much. It's a plateau of
Yes.
info that you have to share as well.
Yes.
Civil registry, real quick. They will be returning back to the building, or how is that going to work?
No, I haven't heard that the civil registry will be returning. What I've heard is that the receiver's office will be returning. So literally it's a two-part space. They have the left side of the building when you enter, and post office is to the right. But like I stated earlier, we understand that basically most government entities are lacking of space, and so I believe it can work. We haven't utilized the left side of the building in the 2 years that I've been here, so I don't think that it will come up any shorter than we are currently.
Contact information, website information for Postal Services St. Martin.
We don't have our website up and running as yet. When we do have that, we'll notify via our Facebook page. But we do have our Facebook page. It's Postal Services St. Martin NV. As I stated earlier, we can be contacted via WhatsApp, which is the 520-2760.
All right. Wonderful. Interim Director over at PSS Postal Services St. Martin, Miss Marinka Gumbs, thank you very much for tuning in and being a part of this edition of Inside Government.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Great. To our radio listeners and television viewers, this brings us to the end of this edition of Inside Government. If you have missed this broadcast, be sure to tune in to St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 FM for video on demand. Log on to the official government's Facebook page, which is Government at St. Martin, as well as YouTube channel. On behalf of our Department of Communication and the Government of St. Martin, I'm Charity Dunker. Thank you for tuning in.